Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Shall we start the session now? Ma'am, shall we start the session now, ma'am?
Yes. Very
Warm greetings to you all. I'm happy to welcome you all for the third day of our three-day national conference on Vision for India 2047, sponsored by the Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. I extend my hearty welcome to our resource person, Dr. Maya Ratna Sabhabadi. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm really impressed by ma'am's lovely nature. While I was contacting ma'am for our conference, she readily gave her acceptance and made this day. While conversing with ma'am, I got some ideas to shape and groom the conference in a better way. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your guidance. And it is indeed my privilege to introduce our resource person to you now. Dr. Maya Ratna Sabhabadi is rendering her service as Associate Professor of Psychology, School of Social Sciences and Languages, Belur Institute of Technology, Chennai. Her areas of specialization are educational psychology, social psychology, and neurocognitive psychology and disability studies. She was being a visiting professor in IIT Madras between 2010 and 2013. She has published 50 research articles in peer-reviewed journals and contributed chapters in nearly 10 books. With this, she has organized 10 conferences and workshops so far. Ma'am has completed 4 research projects and they were being funded by ICSSR MHRD, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Government of Tamil Nadu in the year of 2017, NIST, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. 4 research scholars completed their doctorate degrees under ma'am's guidance, and 6 scholars are pursuing their research at present. Ma'am, really we are privileged to get your consent for our conference and listen to your intellectual discourse. I request Dr. Maya ma'am to deliver her keynote address on upliftment of indigenous people of India. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Anjita, for your very kind words.
Sure, ma'am.
So, first and foremost, I thank the organizer, the management of the college, and ICSSR for giving us this privilege to share our views and thoughts. See, here this platform is more to, it's not to show our expertise, but to share what we know and also learn from others what we don't know. So I look at any conference or any meeting to learn, because we really get to know so many things when we interact. So my humble request is, if there's going to be some interaction and some people introduce themselves, tell me their background, whether we can help one another, it would be fine. So now I want to first start off with, my topic is uplift. Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can, ma'am. I can.
The beginning you didn't hear me?
No, ma'am. We heard you, ma'am. Just a few seconds only. We got our voice was break, ma'am.
Yeah, now it's okay, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let us start off with saying why this topic I chose. So the whole seminar is about uplifting or vision for India in 2047. So I thought the tribal group are the ones who are generally marginalized, but they need our specific kind of attention. So I thought I'll bring this topic. Of course, I wanted to talk on, my niche area is learning disability, multiple disabilities and all that. But I think that is well taken care of. And this is what needs, I think, more exposure and more inputs from all the knowledgeable people who are participating here. Another interest why I chose this topic was that two of my scholars are now working on tribes. So I thought this is a new area. It's a new area for me too. And even by doing this, I will learn a lot about what's happening around. So it is more a learning for me. So when you talk about tribes, we are talking about the people who are just like us. Please understand, they are no different from us, meaning they too have feelings, thoughts, desires, and all that we have, they too have. But the point is, they are in a different setup. We are in a different setup. Today, I'm going to take you through a journey of a tribe. So please relax, forget your identity, forget your name, forget everything. So you are traveling with me as a tribe to experience what it is or what a tribe feels in his day-to-day life. Okay, now as we always say, I like to always introduce the etymology of the word tribe. So tribo means race of people or lineage. So why is it that in India we call them scheduled tribes? So sometimes what happens when you say SC, ST or something, it is just that we have to understand this, that the Indian Constitution under Schedule 5 of the Constitution, they recognized these groups of people. That's it. You got it? So they're called scheduled tribes because in the what is it? In the Constitution, it comes under the scheduled tribe. Okay. Now, next thing that we want to know is how are these people called and what are they named? They are called as Adivasi. So all of us, one thing beautiful about our Indian languages, most of the words can be related. If I say Adivasi, a Tamilian can understand, a person speaking Hindi can understand, any Indian language, people will be able to understand the origin of the word. Adi means old, Vasi means one who lives. So who is this Adivasi? Adivasis are these tribal people who are there from the beginning. And other terms that they use for these tribes are the Atavika and Vanavasi and Girijan. So Vanavasi, we know again, Vasi are the inhabitants. Vana means forest, and Giri means, we all know Giri is nothing but mountains and hills. Jan is people, a Hindi word Girijan. Just like how we have Harijan. So Harijan was it's a beautiful term where we say that we are all sons of God. Hari is God, and we're all sons of God. So now, when we're trying to understand these people, let us try to understand what is it that they are thinking, what is it that they are feeling, and what exactly is it that they're going through. I welcome somebody from Assam, and I'm sure they'll be also able to contribute something about the people, the tribes in Assam also. We'll be discussing. Each one can be also come for a discussion after my lecture. So now, who is a tribe or what is a tribe psychology? I want to explain to you that I'm giving you a brief introduction about tribes rather than going directly to the upliftment, because when we want to do something, we should understand what is it that they are, what is it that they want, what are their expectations, their feelings, their current situations, and their motivation. Only then can we talk about how can we help them. Okay, now it's very interesting. Tribal people are very, very simple people, very humble people, and they possess a great amount of feeling of their co-villagers. So this is something which is very, very unique, and this is something that is missing in us. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not generalizing, but I'm just trying to say simplicity, humility, and feeling of oneness is something that I think is far reached for people who are in the so-called urbanized setup, isn't it? So we make our life complex. We want to do many things. Then we get into trouble. We get stressed, and then we say, "I want to lead simple life," and all those. Again, humility. See, what happens is this. I want to tell you, students or participants, that people have, as far as my experience, people have a notion, or people believe that humility is a weakness, or people think if you're going to be very humble, people are going to walk over you. So such people don't matter to us at all. People who are humble will remain humble in any circumstances, and the others will understand it in due course of time. So these people are very humble people. See, please understand, only when there's humility among one another can there be unity. That is the reason why I'm specifying all these psychological or emotional traits that these tribes possess. See, here it's my talk is not only to understand them, but to see how it is going to be applicable for us for our betterment. Let us not only talk about betterment of the tribal group, let us also talk about our own betterment, right? So humility is something which is very, very important, and they possess it. The next thing that they have is a great amount of feeling of oneness or co-village. They all feel we are co-villagers. See, they're in a setup. Okay, now how is the whole setup for them? There is one person called as the Kingsman. He's a typical leader, and the others become the community members. This is how the setup is. There is no saying treasurer, all these different names and positions that we have here. One is a treasurer, one is a secretary, then you have an assistant secretary, then you have somebody else, and we have so many people, then we have ego problems with one another. Then the ultimate goal of the purpose of the committee, it sometimes even gets diluted, right? It's not always, it can happen. So I'm not talking negative, please don't misunderstand me. I'm trying to show this negative things so that you understand the positive things that these tribal people are experiencing. Then they grow in the intimacy of the social atmosphere of his community. See, this social intimacy, this social kind of intimacy or their association is very, very, very important. Why I want you to understand this is a lot of people, or many of us, really don't have the sense of belongingness. I don't know how many of you will agree to that. For example, I may say I belong to this community. I may say I belong to this. I'm somebody's wife. I'm somebody's mother. Somebody's X, Y, Z. Belong to this institute. All those are more based on the role we play. But what I'm trying to say, that identity that I am this is missing, I feel. Would you agree with me? Whereas these tribal people are so strongly convinced that I am, say, a Kurumba, I am a Shomboy. So that gives them a total identity, which I think is very good for them to feel, have that closeness, feel that they belong to a group, and there's strength in unity, right? And there's some kind of identity that they get. And what are we people trying to do? We are seeking identity in different roles we take. We work hard for it. But they naturally take it, and there is no kind of enforcement. They don't have to work for it. See, for example, if I have to get something and I have to work for it to get it. But there they think it's their birthright and they enjoy the birthright. The problem with us is we want to be different. We want to be unique. And because of that, we are losing our core self. Whatever we really are, we might miss to enjoy that. Whereas they say, I am this, I'm proud to be this, and I will remain this. You understand? Okay. The next thing is they talk about, they feel the pleasure in roaming about hills, forests, and fields. Come on now, all of you are with me now. Just we are going on a jolly ride into the forest, into the hills and the fields with nothing to worry. You are not your name, you're not what your roles you play, but you are a free person, a person who's just enjoying going around, enjoying the forest, enjoying the fields, and are so happy, and you're one with the environment. There's this kind of intimacy that you could have with the environment, the nature. You know, nature is so beautiful, so abundant that we fail to even appreciate, acknowledge, understand, later on think of enjoying. Isn't it? So this is what these people are having day in and day out, day in and day out. For example, if I have to think of if I have to think of something like going to the hills, oh, it is such a big plan. What is the budget? Who's coming? Car, petrol? What will be the expenses? How many days stay? Will we get the booking? Off season, on season? Is it off season, or can we buy the ticket now? All these things is what we are striving for, those 3 days in our life, for which we fret and fume before the journey, come back again, fret and fume. During the journey, of course, we get into some kind of tips with one another or people in the hotel or something. So, but imagine them, they're just enjoying every moment as they are experiencing the nature with them. And then what is the next thing that they do is they make friends. They also try to have their own relations, and then they have some festive occasions too. They too have their festive occasions where they all get together, they meet with one another, they enjoy themselves, and this happens periodically. They also have days like how we have different festivals. They too have different festivals, and this is how they are. So just a minute, I'm just looking at some of the chats that have come in. If there's something that I have to share and answer. Okay, so Mr. Larson is saying that what you say is true, that the belongingness is very much missing in us. And Anuradha Kumari ma'am is saying everyone is unique and we should believe in our uniqueness and enjoy it. Yes, ma'am. What I'm trying to say is we are striving to be unique because we're still searching for it, whereas they have themselves identified their role and their uniqueness, and they keep going ahead. Okay, now let me go on to the next thing. So now the next thing that I wanted to talk is about the Indian tribes. So what is it that the Indian tribes are specially having different from the others? So even if they're tribes, when they're Indian tribes, there's something unique about them. Something unique because our culture is unique. Our culture has so many positive and negative things too. Okay, now the tribal life is, many of them spend their time under a large tree, or they have a public platform where everybody get together. Generally, the males all get together and discuss, plan about the future. Please understand, just because they are tribes, that doesn't mean to say they don't have desires, they don't have plans, they don't have motives. They too have in their own sweet way. Okay. The next thing is, we are talking about their traditional way of living is hunting and collecting food in the forest. So when you're talking about hunting and collecting food in the forest, actually what we mean is that these people are the ones who are searching for food. Either they have vegetable, they have roots, leaves, fruits, or whatever it is, and also they do kill animals to feed themselves. So another important thing you have to remember is, when they have a particular area and many regions where the tribals live off their limits to outsiders. So this is something which we have to understand and accept. Okay, they don't like to be disrupted, nor exploited, nor harmed by the urban society which is around them. So this is how they want to lead their life. Okay. The next thing is, of course, they too have parties. They too have they make their own home brewed spirits, beers, and derived from rice, and some other grains too. Now the main concern for us now is that most of the tribes are concentrated in the heavily forested area. Okay, because of this, they become inaccessible, and because of this inaccessibility, they have limited political and economic significance. So this is where the government policies come into play, the other CSR groups come into play. This is where people like us, many of you will be coming from different fields. Your background will be of different fields, but still we can contribute in our own way to understand them and make their life better. Okay. Now let us give you a little brief thing about the statistics of these scheduled tribes. So what you have to understand here is that the scheduled tribe groups have actually increased in number. So if you have to go to take the census of 1951, there were 225 lakhs of people in India as tribes. I mean, just like other population is also exploding, even the tribal population is exploding. And in 2011, we have 1043 lakhs of tribes in India. So what I want to bring your attention to is that this is a big group, and this group also needs to be taken care of when we are planning for better India. So this is why we are going to talk about these people. Okay. Then when you talk about India, we find tribes are there everywhere. Every place, I mean, every state, we have tribes. And of course, I'm not going to talk to you about all those places, but there are certain unique things that we would like to talk. Listen. So now I just want you to see a small video on just what the tribes are and how we can. Where is that? 1 second, students. 1 second. Just share that small screen. Can you see the screen? Okay, so we just saw the video in which, if you have seen all the clips there, just a second. One minute. Jonah? This is being played. This is being played, right? Okay, that is being played. Okay, fine. Okay. Now let us go back. See, what I wanted to show you is I thought I would read the wordings again. They're trying to say that these tribal people are the ones who are going to help us even to reduce this kind of the climatic crisis that we are, the climatic change, the crisis that is happening today, because they are the ones who were actually preserving nature as it was. Okay. Now let me now talk about the tribes in India, and one of the most interesting tribes in India are the tribes from the Andamans. So here, especially the tribes here we are talking about are we have a group called Ojens, Chopins, and then we have another group called the Sentilinsi. I'll tell you why I'm especially talking about these people. So here, these group of people are generally fully dependent on gathering, food hunting, and they are semi-nomadic. So when you say tribes, you have to use the word nomadic. When you say nomadic, these people are moving around. See, when what we always think is a nomad means, or nomadic means is going from place to place. But please understand, we have to understand, even when they are going from place to place, there is some meaning why they are doing it. For an external person, it might be say, oh, he's staying here and going there. But for them, there's a need. There's a need for maybe for food, maybe for change, maybe for some seasonal reasons. They all, most of them, I mean, it's as good as they live open to sky. So they have to take care of the world, the weather conditions too. Now, let me go back to the languages that they speak. Each one has, each group has a different language. See, what I'm trying to say here is, when you're talking about preservation of languages and all that, and we get lots of people call us for some, they call for, project proposals and for preservation of culture. Please, if the professors there are sometimes where it's called for preservation of Indian culture and heritage, even from DST, where they want us to do something in such a way that all this is preserved. So why are they doing it? Because they know the value, and they know that these dialects will keep one day they would go missing. So as people from science or technology, as people from arts background, we all have responsibilities. It is not just, please understand, it's not just that we are only responsible for our family, or we are only responsible for the near and dear ones. No, we have to start thinking beyond ourselves. We have to practice universal love. And in this, what I want you to request is, I request you is include this tribal group too. See, now this tribal group has become too close to my heart, because I had gone for, my students had went for presentation to the Tribal Research Center at Ooty. This is for the Tamil Nadu we have there. When we went there, we met so many tribes. We spoke to them. We tried. They gave us so much of inputs that, I mean, I personally felt, oh, this area is where we can contribute something. So in whichever field you are, it doesn't matter. See how you can link, how you can understand, and how you can make their lives a better place to live. Okay. Now I want to talk to you about this Sentinel tribe, and I also have a video to show about them, because this is very specific, that these people are living in the what is called in the Andaman Nicobar Islands, and as of today there are only 45 people who are surviving. Three things that I want to tell you here is, when tsunami came, it actually, we were in Chennai, the water came, it crossed the, whatever it's called, it crossed the sand, it crossed the road, and it went up to the IG office, which was in front of the Marina Beach at the lighthouse. So much of water came, there was so much of destruction, so many people passed away, and it took a lot of time for us to get over it. But believe it or not, these tribes, imagine Andaman and Nicobar, every other day there could be a flood, there could be a cyclone, it is happening. But they found that they were well prepared, they had some natural instinct that there could be a disaster, and all of them, I believe, moved to a hill which was much above the sea level, and none of them died during this this mammotic tsunami that killed so many where in Chennai and other places. Chennai, not only Chennai, although the coastal areas, it had happened. So 1 minute, I'd like to show you that small video too. Give me a second. Is it 1 minute? Donna, this is the one which is I want to show you. Just seconds. Can you see it? Just a minute, I'll share it. It's open now. Wait a second. Come. Oh, here is it, right? 1 second, I'll just share this. 1 second. Just see this, okay? Can you see it? This is the Andaman Nicobar Islands.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, your mic is mute.
Sorry. So here in this particular in this island, I want you to bring to your notice that here people are not allowed to visit, and even if they visit, I believe there was some patrol which went nearby, and they tried to go into the village, and they were actually beheaded, and all the heads were kept as a warning that nobody should come into their island. But there's only one lady by name Madhu who was successful in meeting them and getting all the information that we are sharing now. There's another tribe again in this Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and they are known as the Jarawa. So Jarawa are people who are a little more adjusting or accepting people to visit them, and they themselves act as a point of tourist attraction where people go and visit them. One more thing, primary health center has been there in this village, and only the tribes are allowed to visit, not others. So when I'm talking about health, I'll tell you more about it. And of course, when you talk about Kerala, when you're talking about Kerala and Tamil Nadu, when you're talking about Kerala and Tamil Nadu, we know that there are many tribes in Tamil Nadu, and the Kurumbas are the ones who are there in the Nilgiris. And we had an opportunity to meet them. And one beautiful, a museum is opened at Nilgiri, at Ooty, where the Tribal Research Institute, where you have everything that they've been having for more than 300, 400 years, small pots, vessels, all the other things that they use. And with a lot of effort, now the present director in charge, Dr. Uday sir, is doing miracle over there to really understand them, to see how we can reach them. So his objective is how can we reach them. And incidentally, we found that very little research is done on their behavior. Many people do on the culture things. So we are all planning to work on different aspects of the behavior there too. The next tribe is the Bondo tribe, which is from Orissa. So these people are also the ones who have a special attire. See, dressing is something which they enjoy, and it's not that they spend a lot or anything. Which whatever that is resources available, that which is within reach. They're so creative. They come out with so many kinds of designs, with colors, combinations, with no training. I mean, it is just that it's been inherited, and I think they also start to find their own way as how to do it. Now I'll just show one more video on these. That is the screen. Just a second. Not this. Just have to take the other screen. Where's the other screen? The second video. Yeah, I got it. This is the Bonda tribes. Is the video shared? Is the video shared? So we just got a gist of these people and how they. Okay. Now let's go on to understand their family system and how is their family and what is it exactly happens in their type of family system, which is very, very different from ours, I could definitely say. They have a limited size. They have a relationship of permanent nature. See, they might have differences, they might have disagreements or overviews, and all this could be there. But their main objective is, if it's going to be a relationship in the family, it's going to be of permanent nature. And husband and wife are the permanent sexual partners too. And minimum, they say there should be one person who should be the breadwinner for the family, and they all cohabit, and they have a common nomenclature. So, mean to say, if this one family is there, as we also have a typical family name, they too have one. Then we talk about their family is the cradle of education for children. See, all of us know that socialization takes place from birth. So what is socialization? Socialization is learning different kinds of beliefs, culture, folklores, modes, and all this. And our first teacher or our first person is the family. And for them, this is of paramount importance, because they do not have other sources to get information, or other they don't have a media, they don't have other people coming and giving them ideas, or people agreeing or disagreeing. So nothing like that happens. So whatever they have got knowledge, it is just transformed from the parents to the child. Again, we talk about the marriage. We talk about, as usual, as how we also have monogamous marriage, one wife, one husband. Then we have the polygamous family, where one man has more than one wife. And this type is very much found in the Nagas and the Gondas among the tribes in Orissa. So I saw somebody from Orissa too being a participant. If at the end of the thing, they can also discuss something about it. Again, there's another thing called as the polyandrous family, where one woman has more than one husband. And here there are two types of polyandry. One is fraternal polyandry, and the other is the non-fraternal polyandry. When you say fraternal polyandry, it means that people from the same family, that the brothers, marry the single woman. If it is non-fraternal, it could be people from other people. Husbands may not be related to one another. Okay, so this is the general thing that I have told you about their nature, their lifestyle, their desires, their kind of setup, the family setup and all that. Now let us see what is it that the government, when I say government, it is we. Please don't think the government means it's some organization. That government is the government is a structure that helps us to make life better for everybody around. So usually what we think is, when you say it is government has to do, no, who is the government? We who are part of the government, who have to bring it to the notice or try to find ways in which means to help them. So here they said that the first thing, as anything that we talk about, is when you think of upliftment, the first thing we talk about is the economic upliftment. So when you say economic upliftment, 1 minute, am I not audible? If somebody is saying not audible, am I audible?
You are audible, please continue.
Thank you. No, I saw some messages. Okay. So first thing is the economic upliftment. So when you're talking about economic upliftment, what is it that they have for upliftment? So it is just that we have to find some forest-based economic upliftment. Then you talk about the mode of production that they can do. Then you can talk about simple technology. You're not going to try to say we're going to establish a nanotechnology lab or nanotechnology processing there. No, and they don't want it either. And we too should not destroy or destruct their identity, their kind of living style. See, the point is, let us not look at them, and this is my personal opinion, let us not look at them as somebody who is not equal, who are downtrodden, who need help. No, look at them as a set of people who have their own beliefs and ideas. That's it. And respect them for what they think and feel. See, this is what is the message for today. I mean, I think that's what we have to ultimately try to understand, that these group of people need this type of support also. Another thing is, in economic support, I know many places, when I went there, I met them. There are a lot of these middlemen and these so-called NGOs and self-help group who go there, buy products from them, give them minimum amount, and come and sell it at rocket prices in the urban cities. See, the point is that money should reach them, not you. Yes, that amount that you spend, you have to make a profit. You're not doing social service, all that I understand. But here, their skills and talent is being exploited. But luckily, there's one group, I think TRIFL or something, there's a thing which Government of India has, where the government itself goes to those people, buys it for them at the reasonable price, and then they sell it. They give them a good price, and they sell it at a price which people, if they're interested, will want to buy. Again, we're talking about the poverty. Let's talk about economic development. We talk about the poverty line, whether they're below the poverty line, above the poverty line. It is very interesting to find out that there's a vast improvement from 2009, 11, and 12 among these groups, where in Andhra Pradesh, the 40.2 was then, but 2011 it is 12.1. And in Bihar, it was 64.4 and it is 10.3 now. I mean, it is for urban, it is 10.3, for rural, it is 59. So we can see that there is there is an improvement, in the sense they are they are coming slowly above the poverty line, and then of course government has a lot of policies to help them to do it. Okay, so one thing that we have to remember is that small economy is what that we have to plan or think for them. That is production and transaction of goods and services that can take place within their communities and in their limited geographical area. So this is what we have to keep in mind. So you understand the constraints, you understand that they don't want to leave the place, they are there. How is it that we are going to help them to make money of their skills and their resources? Then reciprocal exchange is something which is which can be done. When it's reciprocal exchange, the motive is not profit. Is it that we could give something and we get something for them? It's not that who's giving more and who's getting less. Then no surplus of kind of production, that is the manufacture of the consumer goods necessarily for where sustenance is usual and economic surplus is rare. So for these people, their whole way or living or whatever it is, first and foremost, understand it is labor intensive work that they're doing. Understand they do not have all the facilities. I mean, they don't have the electricity, they're not having all the facilities which they can increase the production like how people in other places do. And here we have to understand that division of labor is important. According to the age and sex, they take a certain kind of professional training and specialization. This is again, we have to talk about that as part of helping them. Then tribal markets. So this is where we have to take the surplus goods if they have and periodically try to sell it through socio-cultural networks and try to find out how we can improve their economic conditions. Then there is slower innovation takes place. the rate of internal and induced innovation is very low there, therefore making the progress a little slow, but definitely is not unprogressive. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, this is a given setup, and in this given setup, we are trying to help them to become more economically independent. And after economic, we talk about health. Please understand, health is wealth, we all know. And for these people, it is something which is of great concern even to our Ministry of Health, where they find that a lot of problems because of widespread poverty, illiteracy, malnutrition, absence of drinking water, sanitation conditions are poor, maternal and child health services. All these things are where there is a problem because of geographical reasons, because people do not want to even agree. Because I had gone for a meeting where National Mission Commission is there, where we had gone for a meeting, and there they told us that this ambulances that are there, they try to go to these villages to give them because the mortality is high there, not of death during childbirth. So these ambulances go there to bring these pregnant women. These people in the tribal group refuse to go and say that we will have it in our own way, and because of a lot of other factors, there is a lot of death to the mother and the child. Then the government came up with a scheme saying that we'll give you 10,000 rupees if you come to the primary health center that is sent there. And then they've also made possible all these ambulances to go to those remote places to bring them here to take care of them. See, when we are talking this government, that government, I don't belong, I'm not supporter of any government. But what is most important is everybody is doing something. When we really go to the field and find out, we see everybody is working to make their life better too. Another thing is the language that they speak, the cultural practices, and the traditions are again a big problem when you want to improve their health conditions. See, they may not understand what we are saying, or they believe in certain kinds of herbs that they use. So here I want to tell you about my experience in the conference where I don't know whether I can call him Dr. Pichen. His name is Pichen, and he spoke to us for 2.5 hours. Can you imagine? He spoke to us for about 2.5 hours, non-stop. He's a very elderly person, maybe 75 or something, about herbal medicine. It was astonishing when he said that I know about, my father knew about 300 herbal medicines, and my sister last year got some award, I don't know, Bharat Ratna or whatever it is, award for research in herbal medicine, as tribes I'm saying, medicine. And he said another 2-3 years, I will also get it because I've already gathered 5,000 herbs for curing many diseases. And then we immediately asked them, what happened? Did you find something for Corona? So he said, yes, we had something, but of course, Ayush refused to accept it. What was interesting over here was when he spoke with so much of conviction that we have medicines for almost all diseases. You just trust us. We can help you. And then we said, how is it that what happens exactly? Then they say, foreigners come, stay with us for a few months, they learn everything, and then they leave. And then I said, what happens is, for example, this turmeric. This turmeric was found long ago in India saying that it's an anti-infectant. And somebody in US gets a patent for it. Because none of us tried or bothered to even do something to say that this is something which is, and this knowledge was there with us, but we never tried to make use of it in the sense, in a professional way or in the current way. But this person, then since I was a psychologist, I had a question. I asked him, how was the mental health of the tribes? he said, yes, there are problems, but we are able to manage. Then, and you know what he advised? His second statement was, all of you should talk to somebody or the other every day for 10 to 15 minutes. If you are not conversing or communicating with anybody, there is every chance for you to get mental illness. Imagine he never went to any university to get a degree. The basic thing that they've learned, that communication is very important for mental health. You understand what I'm trying to say? I was really impressed when he said so casually, as a matter of fact, he said this is very important for mental health. Another thing that the problem for the physical health or mental health is the remote areas, the hilly territories in which they live. And usually these areas are isolated and untouched by any other people around. So it takes a longer time for them to really get out of this problem. The next problem or the diseases that they have are diseases like measles, chickenpox, unsafe delivery that I was speaking about, snake bite, fever, typhoid, malaria, pneumonia, and all these things, fits are that which they have, but they all say this is caused by evil spirits and curse of gods. So that is how they believe it. And then a lot of research has also found that whenever any person is possessed by evil spirits, the person's pulse becomes very weak and his hands become as cold as ice, and the patient appears restless, and they resort to treatment by performing rituals, which is often dramatic, to cure these patients. And what they believe is there are 4 types of supernatural powers: protective spirits, which always protect them; benevolent spirits, which is worshipped regularly; then they have the malevolent spirit, that is the evil spirit, which they say controls things like smallpox, fever, abortions, and all those things. Then the other one is the ancestral spirits, the spirits of the ancestral, which they say protect them. So why am I talking about this is, when you have so much of belief that this is what is controlling your health, your physical health or your mental health, they would get reluctant to take this kind of allopathic treatments too. But what they have a lot of, lots of money is pumped to find out what is the problems. Usually these people have certain genetic abnormalities, like sickle cell anemia is very, very common. Then red cell anemia deficiency and sexually transmitted diseases also are common there. And the reason is waterborne and communicable diseases like your gastrointestinal disorders, dysenteric, parasitic infections, all these are there. And there's a high prevalence of genetic disorder. Main reason is the most of the disease like sickle cell anemia, all this is genetically transmitted. Then another problem that they have is excess consumption of alcohol, and they get this alcohol from moho flower and fruits, which has been traditionally they use it, and sometimes they also try to get liquor from outside. And extreme poverty is again another reason for ill health. So please understand that these people cannot reach, these people don't have money, they don't have transport, then they have their own beliefs, and nobody is there even to go find out what they need or how they can be helped. See, the problem is, we say they believe in such things, therefore let them do what they want. No, how is it that we can help them to think differently? It's not that we are disagreeing with them. We have to put it in such a way that they can even believe that this could be true. And as I said, we met these tribal ladies and men, And now they all come to the nearby outside, so especially the Nilgiris where I went. They are all in the remote hills there. But mornings they come out and work in certain places. Some of them have this way of beating their hair also. They come that way. When they came to the office, we saw them there. And what was very, very interesting was Mr. Uday Kumar very nicely said that these people are very hardworking and diligent. See, what all is missing in us, we see in them. Very sincere people. You give them some work, they do it properly, and they go. And there I met another person who said that just because these ladies also go out from their tribal group, they have something called as a child marriage. Please understand this very carefully. This woman may be 40, 16 or 15 or 16 or whatever it is. She leaves the home to go get married, go to work. So they have some wedding with a small boy who may be 8 or 10. Okay, and then she goes to work, and then when she is ready for marriage, then she comes back here and marries not this boy who's definitely doesn't going to grow up to meet her age, because she'll be 14 or she'll be 16 or 18, and this fellow will be 10 or 12. This kind of marriage they have just to make sure that she doesn't leave the tribal group. She comes back to the tribal group and marries a suitable person. Then when you're talking about education, again, we talk about education. There are a lot of, we have the Ekalvya school, we have the government-run school for the underprivileged. So there are many schools that are set up to try to train them. And here, most of them are residential schools, and they are very brilliant, they're very intelligent, they can do it. Only thing is they haven't got the opportunity that we have had. And mental health, again, I said, because of their lifestyle, beliefs, community living are the major causes. And the tribe culture says someone has done something on him. He is having problems with his friends, which affected his brain. Can you imagine? You have a dispute with your friend and you say that's why you're having a mental disorder. Or he's facing this problem because of his karma or his luck. She takes so much tension, that's why she's gone mad. So these are the different kinds of beliefs that they have. The strong belief about the cause of mental illness is that the sins of the past, which I observed was the family or the caregivers do not leave the client on his own. Even though the stigma is there, the tribal culture, but family will try whatever way possible in order to cure the patient. Once the caregivers emotionally express, so this is the quotes that they said, who will take care of him if not us? He doesn't have anything. Just because there is some crack in his brain doesn't mean to say we will leave him on the road. See, even if their understanding of the disease or the disorder is different, they all still feel, or there is a kind of commitment that they have to help this person to get out of this problem. Then we talk about, this is again the problem is resistance to change. So when you talk about resistance to change, it is inborn, and all of us have resistance to change. That is not only them. They have this resistance, and what do? They try to keep away, or they try contact with outsiders. Then previously they were more shunted into remote forests, but now they're relatively moving out of the dense forest. And because of this, the real reason is they're not either in the semi-rural area nor in the forest. So that gentleman is saying, since we are moving away, we are losing our access to so many medicinal plants which are in the forest. Therefore, even we are also getting infected, is what they said. The next thing is, we spoke about the government's effort to evict non-tribal members from illegal occupation that has been there. So this is one thing we have to remember. There was somebody in law also who said that any tribe will be given 10 acres of land for his survival. That's what the policy is. And they take care that the government takes care that his life is preserved or his family gets enough income out of it by which he can survive. And of course, women empowerment is very, very important, especially for the tribal women. And we have many of them. One is the Pramod Mahajan Kaushalya Vikas Yojana. Women we provided training. These women, I'm talking about the empowering tribal women, where they be given training for patient caring, housing, hospitality management, making of organic fertilizers, making sanitary napkins. So this is one way that trying to empower them. Then we have the Keshav Shushti Gram Vikas Yojana. It is working in 75 villages of the long neglected, oppressed the Palghar district, which was predominantly the tribal population, and a lot of issues like water, alternative energy, education, micro businesses, all that is taken. Then in 2020, our government had the Project Green Gold. So here, this is the bamboo skill development training started all 9 villages for 275 women and youth to commemorate the birth centenary of the great reformers and advocates of women empowerment, Srimati Savitribai Phule. Each village focused on and trained for 10 different products using bamboo like jewelry, box, trays, and which could be which will replace our plastics and other vinyl products. Then we have the urban-rural connect, where the urban youth adopt tribal villages. See, the urban people adopt the tribal villages, coordinate with the local youth, working together for their upliftment. So this is the other one. Then we have the self-help groups. We have the hill area development programs. See, all these programs are there to support these people. And then many self-help groups teach these women tailoring, baking, constructing toilets, mushroom cultivation. So we have floriculture, making paper and plastic tumblers. Computer courses are also given for these tribal women. It's growing herbal and traditional medicines. The oils. See, whatever oils you get, it's not that it's coming, the natural oils. We go to Uti, you see so many of them. We really want, when you went to see the tea, you couldn't believe there's so many flavors of tea, just nothing. The same tea leaf with different kinds of herbs in it. Some were flowers, some were seeds, some had leaves. So here, these are the people who are actually giving us in the most natural organic form. So this is what we say. So tribal medicines and other activities, we talk about first making them understand that they also have the right, the basic human right to be protected by the government. It's not that they should be neglected. And tribal education should be given in the languages of the tribe and their own culture. See, we are fighting about this language, that language. Nobody's even wondering to understand that. Let us try to learn their language, teach them in their language. Then we have to have a curriculum and a pedagogy for the tribals because they have their own sensitive values, concepts, knowledge systems, and this has to be preserved. See, it's not only trying to tell what we learn, we have to share. We should be in a plane where they too can communicate to us their abundance of experiences, their knowledge. They have a great repository of real life experiences. Not only the medicine values. There's so many other things which we do not know, which they have known and they have been passing on from generation to generation. Again, expanding hospitals, taking care of the different kinds of doctors, visiting them, doing a lot of research to find out what actually is the problem with genetic, how are we going to morph all these problems among these people. Then, as far as economic is concerned, to help them to manage risks and to help them for being more self-reliant, giving them some kind of infrastructure development assistance, improving the skills of the STs by providing training, job-oriented kind of, what to say, not only that we have to make them do what only they can do, but if we can use those people for making something which give them a fair income so that they can have good health, and train them to make something productive. And again, we also have to think about the effective administrative framework, which should be designed from the departments of tribal development and other welfare boards to really take care, as they are also an important part for national building. That is what we have to understand. So that is what I want to tell you, that these people are important as important as others are for the nation. So I think I will stop here. If there is any questions, if I know, I will answer. Please. Thank you for this opportunity once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can post it in our chat.
Yes. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, we are lots of research. I said, behavioral research have to be done. As you said, happiness index, you've given me one problem to work on. Thank you, Abbasik. We'll have this as one of our variable when we do our research. I mean, I really don't know whether there's anything much done about it. I mean, I can't say offhand details.
Madam?
Yes?
Madam, can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, madam, thank you, madam, for your long and the way you are presenting really it was capturing the entire audience. And especially also, you also spoke about the tribes and their development, and so many things you have touched about their personal life. That shows that your love and concern towards them. Thank you very much, ma'am, for all that things what you shared to us. And above all, madam, from your sharing, what we can understand, the government has a lot of love and concern towards these people, and it spends a lot of money on them. There's no doubt at all. But the NGOs, they receive a lot of fund from the government in order to help or raise the status of the tribal people. But whether the fund is really they are going to make use of it, that's only my concern. If they would have make use of all this fund, definitely by this time they would have developed it. But who has to monitor it? Whether the NGO spends properly or not, I don't know that system one.
Sir, I think there should be some systems, and even if there's a system, they will always find a loophole. So the question of each one should feel morally responsible. That's what I always feel. And I always think, as educated people, we should have this universal love. That is what is missing, sir, today.
Yes, ma'am. And even the social stigma, what they carry in their life, it is really so painful for us to see. Even each tribe has its their own name. For Irilas, people consider that Irila means they are thief, and Badaga means they are not educated people. Like the Lord, see, it is all invented by us, not anyone else. Yes. So if we have personally, if we make change in ourselves, definitely they'll be very happy. The perception and assumption has to be changed from in us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think you are also thinking like me. We need more people like you to really take care of them. In the sense, what little way we can do. I mean, we're talking and making people realize that they are as important as you are is enough. I mean, that is the message that I wanted to give in my today's talk.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Can somebody share their experiences? Can somebody talk about some tribal group that they have interacted? Please understand it is two-way. I don't know so many things that you know. Ma'am, you have anything to share, ma'am?
No, ma'am, not now, ma'am. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Somebody say.
Ma'am, as there are no questions, shall we close the session, Mama?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a lucid presentation. It is indeed a systematic presentation on the topic, upliftment of indigenous people of India. You have shared with us some real-time experiences and practices for contributing to the upliftment of the tribal people. It is an inspiration for us as human beings. We have received a lot of data related to the marginalized tribal people and their plight. And you enlightened us with the virtual representations also. We sincerely thank you, ma'am, for taking out time from your busy schedule to provide such a valuable information to us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all. Thank you. Meet sometime. I'll just drop my phone number and mail ID. If there's anything we can share, we definitely will. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
We'll
much.
keep in touch, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye.
Dear participants, the feedback link for the session 7 is posted in our chat. The next speaker will join us soon. Kindly wait. So welcome, sir.
Very welcome. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Shall we begin the session also?
Yes.
Yes. It is a pleasure to welcome as well as introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Debashis Nandi. Sir is an associate professor and head, Department of Political Science, Qazi Nazrul University, Asansol, West Bengal. He is a visiting faculty in the Department of Foreign Area Studies at Tajik National University, Dushanbe, Republic of Tajikistan. Dr. Nandi has published 47 research papers in national and international well-reputed journals. He also contributed 60 book chapters in edited volumes. He is the author of 4 books and editor of 11 books. He has edited a book titled Understanding Post-COVID-19 Social and Cultural Realities, which was published by Springer in Singapore. And a few of his recently published works are published by Nova Science Publishers, New York, Peter Lang Publishing, New York. Sir has completed 2 government-funded research projects and currently completed a research project funded by ICSSR titled The Illegal Bangladesh Immigrants in the State of West Bengal, India, in search of socio-economic impact. He has visited several countries in various academic assignments. His research interests include foreign policy, South Asian politics, refugee and migration, and security affairs. With this short bio note, I request our resource person, Dr. Debashis Nandi, to deliver his keynote address on an emerging power to a global power, India's aspiration into reality in 2047. So the session is over to you now, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind invitation and giving me an opportunity to share my views on the state topic before the August audience. And I would like to convey my special thanks to the organizers and especially the principal of this college to organize such a conference, 3-day conference sponsored by ICSSR. This is really very interesting to all of us to project India up to 2047. The journey which was started in 1947. And after 100 years, the nation, India, our country, will reach at the apex point, and the gradual progression of India in the field of economy, science and technology, defense, communication, actually giving us impetus that, yes, giving us confidence that, yes, we will be able to achieve our goal. At the outset, I would like to give a brief outline of the initial period of India's journey and how we have reached here. We can expect that from an emerging power, we will be able to establish ourselves as a global power. There are some challenges, there are some obstacles. Despite having all of this, how Indian people are dreaming to be the proud citizens of a global power. Not through the military means, but also through humanitarian perspective. When India started its journey with acute financial crisis, the agro-based economy of India had been suffering a lot of crisis. Indian people had to face a lot of problems, just like starvation, illiteracy, poverty, unemployment, fragile healthcare system. Our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in 1949, had paid a visit to the Washington with a lot of expectation that as United States of America was very much supportive towards our freedom struggle, with this expectation, Nehru went there and he expected that the United States of America will do a lot for the Indian people. During his visit, he met his counterparts, academicians, scientists, business houses, businessmen, and other persons. And he approached to assist India. But after spending a few years, when he returned back to India, he came with empty hand because United States of America was not interested to assist India financially, technologically. Then Nehru thought, yes, the time is the Cold War. India should not neither lean towards USSR, not to United States of America. It is better to keep away from the both blocks. Then the policy of non-alignment was adopted by India. The journey of struggle got started. And India was not able to produce food grains. We have no food reserve. We had to import food grains, and other agro products from the outside. After Green Revolution, Indian agricultural development got started, and gradually India has been able to produce indigenous foods. Not only that, India can now export food or food grains to the other countries. It was a very difficult task for India. How an industrially backward country can be reached at the apex point, how the capital will come and who will invest here. Gradually, Indian economy started to move. Industrialization process was going on. Agricultural development was going on. We have a dual geoparty. The demographic structure of India and growth of population is often shown as the negative strength of India. If the population of a country is unskilled, population of country is illiterate, they have the poor health condition, then those people cannot be asset for the country. But this demography could be, this demographic dividends could be enjoyed by India if the government of India initially was able to illiterate all of those people, gave employment to all of them, and assured the well healthcare structure. But we had no money, we had no infrastructure. That is why in initial days, Indian government couldn't be able to take any dividend from its demography, from its population. Gradually, through various social projects, welfare projects, government of India as well as various state governments have taken a lot of initiatives to uplift these people. It was a greater challenge to India to ensure social justice to all. That is why the government of India tried to uplift these people through a reservation policy. Not only that, by spreading various educational packages, Sarva Shiksha Abhijan and other projects, and to promote the girl childs, some special projects have been initiated by various state government. In West Bengal, Kanyastree project is one of them. The Cold War period was not only very challenging for India as a part of foreign policy, but it was very much challenging for India as a part of defense. Initially, India's defense system was not so strong, it was weakened. Nehru had adopted a policy of idealism. From an idealistic perspective, Nehru, our first Prime Minister as well as our first Minister of External Affairs, started its foreign policy, India's foreign policy, with the outlook of idealism. India embraced China, and China emerged as an independent country in 1949 after 2 years of India's independence. Then Nehru was so happy, and India was the second country in the world after Soviet Union which recognized China as an independent country. With a lot of expectation, India started its journey with China. How? India had concluded a treaty with China, Panchashila, policy of Panchashila, and policy of Panchashila was adopted. Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, and after a few years, in early 90s, when India has been attacked twice by China on border issues, then India realized, yes, we will have to change our perception towards China. And initially, India had no intention to use nuclear power for military purpose. After being attacked twice by China, Nehru thought, yes, we will have to rethink about our nuclear policy. Then he talked to Homi J. Bhabha, the great scientist, nuclear scientist, that we will have to rethink our safeguards, our national security. To ensure our national security, we'll have to manufacture nuclear bombs. We'll not first use nuclear bombs. When other countries will attack us, then we will retaliate. But thing is that there was a challenge. Nuclear power plants is a very expensive project. So we had no indigenous technology. So we had to hire technology from USA, Russia, and other countries. The first nuclear power plant was introduced in Tarapur, Maharashtra. Then supply chain was stopped by the United States of America due to India's closeness with the Soviet Union. Throughout the entire Cold War period, India had to face a lot of tension. Why? Because India was so close to Soviet Union. In 1971, India concluded a treaty of friendship and cooperation with Soviet Union, erstwhile Soviet Union. Then Washington was so unhappy with India, and there was very complexity in relationship. From the very beginning, India has been facing a problem from our immediate neighbor, Pakistan. Four full-fledged wars have been fought between Pakistan and India, and many partial wars, shadow wars have been conducted by the two countries. But in all of the cases, Pakistan was responsible. Pakistan violated the LOC, attacked us, formally or informally. Informally means Pakistan basically uses the non-state actors, various terrorist groups. So the Pakistani terrorists used to infiltrate in Indian territory, and they are responsible for various explosions, terrorist attacks in India. So in the Cold War period, India had to face the conventional security threat, but in the post-Cold War era, India is facing double jeopardy, double threat. One is conventional security threat, that is military threat, that any country can attack us. China can attack us, Pakistan can attack us, and other country can attack us. Another thing has been added, additional hazard has been added. This is non-conventional security, that is the attacks by terrorist groups. In early 90s, when globalization introduced by the global community, it was introduced not only early 90s, it was firstly introduced in late 1970s by Margaret Thatcher, former British Prime Minister. And in early 80s, it was introduced by the President of the United States of America, Donald Reagan. So India introduced the features of globalization in early 90s with the introduction of new economic policy. Our market was opened up for the FDI, open door economic policy primarily introduced in India early 90s, but internally, the Narasimha Rao-led coalition government had to face a lot of criticism, especially from left political parties. However, that government overcome all of the initial challenges and moved for the globalization. And then India had established strong economic relations with the United States of America. But this is called the paradigm shift. From an idealistic outlook, India moved to a realistic outlook. Yes, in the unipolar world, post-Cold War world, United States of America is the omnipotent. It is the hegemon of the global politics. So India had continued its old relationship with its old friend Russia, but more emphasis was given to the United States of America. And in 1995, United States of America declared India that it is an emerging market. Yes, market economy was the core concept or chemistry between the relationship between the New Delhi and Washington. India has a very potential market with a sizable middle class. So American investors had started to show their interest to invest here. Yes, our economic situation got improved in the early 90s, especially mid-90s. So India started to improve itself. And India's aspiration to a global power got started since 1990s. Yes, we can. We have potentiality. We have manpower. I have started my just lecture from the demographic dividend. Actually, demographic dividend can be achieved by a country if we can deploy our people, we can engage our people in work. If we can arrange employment for them, then they will be very helpful for a country. Yes. Since early 90s, not only Indian economy got started to develop, so many loopholes of globalization, which has been witnessed by South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan in the late 1990s. Despite globalization helped India to arrange alternative jobs for our youngsters. Youngsters are getting jobs in private sectors, call centers, MNCs, because the scope of government jobs have been uncertain. It is very difficult to give government jobs to all, but the MNCs, foreign MNCs are absorbing these people. However, Indian technological advancement in science and technology, especially IT sector, is another criteria of development. Indian IT experts are very much potential, and they have been absorbed in the United States of America, in Japan, in Philippines, in Singapore, in Europe, and other parts of the globe. The concept of remittance has been once again got priority in Indian economy. The skilled engineers, managers, and educated youths, they started to go abroad. So they are started to contribute money to the Indian economy. And unskilled laborers, for the manual laborers, they have started to go to Malaysia. They have been observed in construction companies in Dubai, Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and other Gulf countries. So they are also contributing a lot in Indian economy. Because globalization not only opened up our economy, globalization actually gave us opportunity to make or establish economic engagements and treaties with other countries. Yes, India has now concluded several treaties with other countries to send labor force to other countries. In this way, Indian economy has been gradually improving. Another side of our pride is our enormous development in space science. Today, India is not only a successful country in launching space vehicles. A number of Indian satellites are working, indigenous satellites are working. Those satellites not only providing information and other facilities to India, but also other South Asian countries. A few years ago, Narendra Modi government gifted a satellite to the South Asian nations free of cost. They can access that satellite for their own purpose. European countries like Italy is dependent upon Indian satellites. India is by providing satellite services to these countries. We are in terms of economy, in terms of future, in terms of space size, remote sensing. The nuclear power plants have been established across the India as an alternative sources of energy. In year 2008, Indo-US civil nuclear deal was concluded after a lot of controversy. Nowadays, India is importing technology and fuel from even Japan, other parts of Europe. We have been able to establish no direct connectivity with Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, these countries. But with the good faith of relations, we have been able to establish this seaport at Chabahar of Iran, because Iran is our good friend, very good old and good friend. Despite having a lot of pressure from the United States of America, India didn't discard its relations with Iran. Because Iran is not only the major source of India's LPG and other petroleum products. It is our old friend. The historical and cultural linkages with the Persian literature and culture and civilization is century old. So now we have been able to establish connectivity with Central Asia through Iran, Chabahar port. Central Asian region is naturally resourceful region. This region has good reserves of gas and petroleum products. We have challenges. We are facing China. We are facing challenges from Russia, because this region is occupied, is surrounded by Russia and China. These two superpowers are actually controlling this region. So India is trying to make a fine balance, maintaining a fine balance in this region, managing China and managing Russia. Now, new crisis has been started, Ukraine crisis. India is aloof. India has decided to take a neutral stance on Ukraine issue. Whatever we are witnessing now, we are witnessing that India's connectivity with Central Asia, with Africa, with Southeast Asia, with Latin America, Europe, and the Middle East. So if we want to see India at the apex point as a global power in 2047, then we'll have to ensure our connectivity across the globe, not only economic connectivity, technological connectivity, diplomatic connectivity, air connectivity, people to people, increase of people to people contacts, to project our cultural heritage, our philosophy, Indian philosophy. Now I'm coming to this point. In today's world, one crisis is very much alarming, that is energy crisis. Within few years, another next few years, the conventional sources of energy will be finished. That is why India is thinking, along with other countries, to use of alternative sources of energies like solar power already started, windmill, bio, etc. So the conversion of technology, the petrol run cars will be converted into solar power or battery cars. So India is trying to establish technological relations to change its technology. India is trying to establish relations with advanced countries in remote sensing, aeronautical engineering, nanosciences, marine sciences, etc. Since early 90s, India is giving emphasis on its lookist policy. Now it has been renamed as actist policy. It is most action-oriented than lookist policy. Since 2014, this India's Southeast Asian policy has been renamed as actist policy. This policy is very much effective for not only Indian foreign policy, for only in Indian global Indian acceptance in Southeast Asia, India's economic development, India's economic engagements, technological engagements, medical tourism with the Southeast Asian nations. I have personally visited almost all Southeast Asian countries. I saw that Indian diaspora is playing a very active role to promote Indian culture, and they are very good businessmen there. They are service holders there. And Indian soft diplomacy has been promoted by this Indian diaspora and Indian government itself. Various Indian embassies are organizing Indian cultural program. Swami Vivekananda, Gandhiji's, the philosophy of Indian great personalities, Indian yoga, Indian Ayurveda, Indian literature, Indian classical dance, music, classical music. These things have been popularized in Southeast Asian nations. Long back ago, Rabindranath wrote a poem, Light of the East. Here, he visualized the Indian century-old cultural linkages with Southeast Asia. We'll have to re-establish. Yes, this relationship is not new. If we go to Cambodia, we'll see Angkor Wat, there is a Vishnu Mandir, century-old. Hinduism was there, Buddhism was there, Buddhism was still there. So the sources of Hinduism and Buddhism in India. So each and every year, the pilgrims from Southeast Asia, especially Buddhists, are coming to Bodh Gaya and other places in India. So direct air connectivity has been increased not only with the major cities but also the cities.
आप ऐसा बोल लो
बस मुझे
मेरे
यही
साथ
लगता
ऐसा
है मैम
करोगे
कि
तो
जो लोगों को दिखता है वो
दूध
सब
गोया
प्रोडक्ट बेच कर देना है। मेरी वजह से आपको भी सुनने मिलता है कि आप फेवर करते हो, आप
इसका
just like new airports, Budh Gaya, Goa Airport, Benares Airport. These airports are now international airport. Our relations with South Korea is also very old because Korea was divided in early 50s, South Korea, North Korea. So North Korea adapted a socialist structure and South Korea adapted a democratic structure. So there is hell and heaven difference between the economy of South Korea and North Korea, and lifestyle is totally different. I visited South Korea in 2017. I saw just like the lifestyle and economic development of South Korea, just like the Western countries. So India, South Korean companies have invested here. POSCO, LG, Samsung, and other companies. The glaring development of South Korea has been able to pulling up the foreign countries to think about the rapid development of South Korea. Today, South Korean government not only invested in India, but we are thinking, just this point is very vital, knowledge economy. Economic liberalization is a point of convergence. This policy has been adopted both by India and South Korea. Now we are thinking about the knowledge economy, engagements in knowledge economy. South Korean government has been invested here, and they are planning to invest more and more cities to establish some colleges, universities, research centers, and students after completion of their study, they will be absorbed there. They will do some innovative works. Knowledge-based economy. Knowledge is power. If we talk about Foucault, knowledge is power, power is knowledge. Yes. India is trying to extend its knowledge economy-based relations with South Korea, with Japan. India's teachers, India's professors and researchers are now working in Malaysia. Malaysian people are not intellectually superior, okay? But economically, Malaysia is superior. Economic development of Malaysia is really very appreciable. They are hiring people to run their colleges, universities, and educational institutions and research institutes. Like other nationals, Indian nationals and professionals are working there. They are earning money and they are supplying knowledge chain to Malaysia. The digitalization of Malaysian economy is very much appreciable thing. Malaysia moved digital economy. Being an Islamic country, the development and modernization of Malaysia really demands appreciation. So Indian people, not only the unskilled manual laborers who have been involved in several construction companies, but people who are the IT experts, who are the professors like you and me, they are also working there in various private universities in Malaysia. Indian professors, academicians are working in various universities in Middle East, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait City, Saudi Arabia. They are also not intellectually. But what they are doing, they are investing, they are establishing universities with foreign collaborations, and they are hiring professionals from India and other countries. So knowledge-based economy in near future will give. I personally 7. India will be able established itself. Then, because we are increasing, we are reducing our poverty rate. In year 2000, financial year 2011-12, our poverty rate was 21.5%. In 2015, it came down in 13.5. In 2000 financial year 2000, it came down 7.0. So poverty rate is downing, and our economic growth is increasing. Our economic growth is ascending curve, going towards ascending curve. So if we check our other compulsions, just like corruption is one of the alarming things for India. Corruption, leaders are corrupted, administrators are corrupted. This is not only harmful to our economy, but it is harmful to our national image. The image and reliability of a country is very much essential for a nation's national profile. We have some problems of regional insurgencies. This is not only problem of India. These problems are very much common for many countries in the world. But which is alarming? That is so sorry for the interruption. Actually, we have other challenges. We have other challenges. Challenges like child marriage. Challenges like honor killing. Challenges like dowry. These things are social stigma, despite taking a lot of initiatives by the government of India, by passing a number of laws and regulations. We are not able to stop these things. These things are now very much alarming for India. We are now talking about our aspirations to be superpower. There are so many challenges in South Asia. The South Asian countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, these countries are now not happy with India. This is not only fault of India. I can say this. I am not going to say this. But thing is that the managerial capacity of India to manage this South Asian small neighbors raise some questions. From the very beginning, we took a generous policy to deal with our South Asian countries. We had no expectations with South Asian countries. We liberated Bangladesh without any expectation. A very generous job done by Mrs. Gandhi. We concluded treaties with treaty of friendship with Nepal and Bhutan. We have open border. This is a challenge. Through this open border, the anti-Indian terrorist groups can easily take entry into India. We'll have to rethink about this open border. We have a long border with Bangladesh. Many area I personally visited this border area, for border studies, I visited Bangladesh. But I saw many of these areas, borders are not covered by fencing. Many, this border is porous border. So illegal cattle trading are going on. Traffickers, women's traffickers, child traffickers, drug traffickers are infiltrating from Bangladesh. They have been attached with some illicit acts. Khagragara incident was held in 2014 at Bardhaman town of West Bengal, and these Bangladeshi illegal infiltrators are very much available in bordering districts. So this is very much alarming. We have a very long border with Bangladesh in coastal area, Sundarbans, Bay of Bengal. These areas are insecure. So what we are trying to say, the Chinese influence in Southeast Asia, the Chinese influence in South Asia, through the policy of sting of pearls to maritime Silk Route policy is very much alarming. China is covered, encircled the entire South Asian region. Maldives was a very much good friend of India. Bhutan was very good friend of India. These two countries were really a very good friend, with whom India had a very close ties. But in recent times, after Doklam incident, Bhutan is sided with China. India stopped its subsidy on petroleum products of Bhutan. India made a blockade in 2015 in Nepal border. The entire supply chain of these countries are dependent upon India. And subsidized petroleum products are offered to these countries. Entire naval trades of these two countries are dependent upon India. If India stops to give access these two countries for naval trade, then two countries will face a lot of problems because these two countries are landlocked countries. India is following the generous policy. It's good, but at the same time, India will have to pressurize these countries to take such tactics to realize these two countries that without help of India, you will not survive. You can't survive. On Kalapani issue, there is a very hostile relations between India and Nepal. Chinese influence in Nepal is a very well-known fact. The first airport of Maldives was established by India in 1960s. First satellite channel was established by India in Maldives. State Bank of India is controlling Maldivian economy. But now, since 2013, the Chinese influence has been intensified in Maldives. The Maldivian government has taken loan from Chinese government. That is why Maldives is now in debt trap. Sri Lanka is now in debt trap, Chinese debt trap. So actually these small countries has a lot of expectation from the big neighbors like India that they will continue assist them. They will continue assist them. But thing is that the capacity of assistance is a factor. So China, in the name of assistance, is giving hard conditions. These countries are unable to realize initially. That is why they have been trapped, debt trapped. So India assisted these countries in many ways. Whenever these countries had faced a any sort of natural calamities, any problems, financial crisis, India immediate sent its relief troop to these countries. In Nepal, in 2015, Nepal had to face a lot of crisis for the earthquake, severe earthquake. India was the first country which reached its relief flight to Nepal. India is very much generous to Bangladesh. Now, Bangladesh has established its relations with China, purchased submarines from China, modern military equipment from China. Several developmental projects are going on. Chinese-funded developmental projects are going on in Bangladesh. China is establishing another deep seaport near Chittagong seaport of Bangladesh. So this is a question of capacity. We are dreaming a lot. We will be the great power. But what is our capacity? We sometimes emotionally say, yes, we will attack China. Yes, when our sovereignty will be endangered, when we will be attacked, we must attack our enemies. But thing is that either we are capable enough to retaliate, we are capable enough to go for the war, and the consequences of war is very much dangerous. It's not only very much harmful to our economy, but very much harmful to our civilization. Because war today is not confined in the manual war. This is the nuclear one with war and modern equipment. India's challenge now, another challenge, China, not only diplomatically and strategically, economically also. Yes, after Galwan incident, the government of India declared for the self-reliant. Self-reliant, we are talking about self-reliant, will produce our products in our own ways. But in practice, when we face our reality, then we find that our supply chain depends upon China. Our pharmaceutical, raw materials of pharmaceutical products, medicines, and other things, motor parts, electronic parts are actually depends upon China. So we'll have to observe, we'll have to be very calculative. We'll have to make a project. We'll have to prepare a projection. This is the year 2021, 22, and by 2027, 5 years. What will be our goal and how we'll achieve those goals? Because capital is needed. At the same time, professional integrity is also needed. Honesty, integrity, discipline. These things are needed. So many countries in the world which are very much poor or economically underdeveloped. I talked about South Korea. South Korean people in 1950s, they had to pass their days in starvation. But now, what they had reached. The honesty, that this is the Mera Bharat Mohan, I am proud of Indian citizens. This is the emotional verse. To be a good Indian citizen, we'll have to perform our own work. We'll have to love our country through our work, through our duties, our discipline, honesty. We are talking about our leaders in great platforms are talking about Mera Bharat Mohan. They are actually taking bribes. They are cheating with the people, and they are alleged with financial corruptions. So leadership is another lacking of India today. Leaders who are MPs, who are MLAs, regulations for the Indian nationals. Question is that whether they are capable enough to pass any laws and acts for the Indian people. They know whether they know economy, whether they know foreign policy, whether they are very aware of the Indian societies, Indian women, Indian culture. How can they pass bills in parliament for the sake of the people? What I have observed, my observation is that at first, the capability and eligibility of the leaders should have to be fixed up. Without having education, without having adequate knowledge, that meaning that no person can be a minister if he has or she has no adequate knowledge about that sector, economy, or social sector, or Indian society, Indian culture, Indian constitution. He will not be able to be a minister or MP. The quality of leadership is needed, and dedicated leadership is needed to India, which is lacking. India today is seeking membership of Security Councils of United Nations. Nehru is also responsible for this. When Nehru was offered to be the permanent member, Nehru was given offer that India can be a permanent member of Security Council. Then Nehru refused, and he said, yes, give this offer to China. That what China is doing now with us, China is creating obstacles. China is opposing our demands. We are trying to take entry into energy, nuclear supply groups, but somehow we are not getting. So India will have to have more and more capacity to manage the global leaders. Our leaders are visited many countries. Foreign ministers are visiting many countries. They are trying to pull the FDI. They are approaching the NRI. He has come to India, invest here. We will give you opportunity. But thing is that in practice it is going on. It's good, but not up to the expectations. And another alarming thing is today, India, the responsibility of the government is reducing now. Privatization. Privatization is good. This is in the era of globalization, we can deny the privatization, liberalization. But things are more can be dangerous for us. More foreign investment can be dangerous for us. If the foreign investors, after a few years, decide to withdraw their capital from India, then our economy will be broken down. We can deny the importance of agriculture until unless the establishment of the close ties with agricultural sector to industrial sector, Indian economy cannot be reached at the substantive position. Today, India has been able to establish its close relations with various international organizations, not only with BRICS, ASEAN, some regional organizations, just SAARC, BIMSTEC, European Union, SCO. India, once upon a time, Nehru thought that India will be leader of the third world. The term of third world now has been obsolete. This term has been coined now as least developed countries or developing countries. So India has become the member of G20. India's position is in middle. Not the least development countries, not the developed countries. It's actually still developing countries, developing nations. But if we compare ourselves with Bangladesh, we liberated Bangladesh. Bangladesh was empty basket when it was liberated. It has no money, no infrastructure. But now, Bangladesh, the economic development of Bangladesh is really very surprising. Economic growth of Bangladesh is surprising. Through remittance, through export of garment goods and other things, the economy of Bangladesh has been enormously developed. So, the new economic policy will have to be formulated because we had adopted new economic policy in 1991, 30 years back. So we'll have to rethink about our economic policy, our foreign policy. Foreign policy is very dynamic, is continuously changing with the changing scenery of the global politics. But somehow, we are facing problems from our South Asian nations. We are facing problems from our some African countries and Middle East countries. But we have a lot of challenges because our enemies, like China and Pakistan, they are always trying to India in jeopardy, in danger. We have a very good relations with Gulf countries. Okay. But Pakistan is trying to convince the Gulf countries India is not good country. Here minority people are not safe, etc., etc., etc. But the Gulf countries have very good faith on India, except a few countries. Now our relations with Turkey is not good due to Pakistan. Our relations with Malaysia was so good, but after CA, after scrapping of Article 370, Malaysia reacted negatively against India. But it was not expected from Malaysia. India was also replied that it is our internal affairs, you can't intervene it. So we should continue our friendship with other countries. But if any countries questioned in our internal affairs, our sovereignty, then we should retaliate, we should give answer. India is now in a position to bargain with other countries. Pakistan is not in a position to bargain because it can receive aids from other countries, aid-based countries and state-sponsored terrorist country. Why the global powers and global community is appreciating India? Because despite having a lot of challenges, India is continuing its democracy. This is our strength. India is continuing its democracy. This is our strength. We have vibrant democracy. We have vibrant democracy. So the relationship between the world's largest democracies like India and with the world's oldest democracies, that is United States of America, is really very appreciable. Why India is dreaming to be a superpower? Because India is not only thinking individually, India is thinking globally. So many initiatives have been taken jointly by the United States of America and India in order to ensure global peace, democracy, stability, human security, and human rights. Yes, India contributed a lot in restoring democracy in Afghanistan with the United States of America. India did a lot in capacity building of the Afghan youth. Still, in this continuing is assistance in capacity building of South Asian nations, South Asian youths. India is offering a number of scholarships and fellowships, not only South Asian students, but also the African students, Southeast Asian students. Indian health sector has been developed. Number of super specialty hospitals have been established. But thing is that public health sector is not satisfactory. Common people are not getting the health facilities. And today, many people from Southeast Asia, South Asia countries and Central Asia, they are coming to India for medical tourism, for medical purpose. In this way, India is earning money, and India, this thing is also helping in image building of India. People of India are now expecting that they will be free from poverty, they will be free from corruption, they will be free from any communal riot, they will be free from any political violence. The political violence is a very negative features of Indian political system. It will have to be eliminated from Indian structure, political structure. People can change this society, not only through institutional education, not only through political power or majoritarian concept. As an individual, if we change ourselves, if we change our thinking, then we must be able to change our societies, change our economy, change our perception. And the bureaucratic system will have to be changed. Since early 1990s, some positive features have been introduced in bureaucratic system. It has been more people-oriented and transparent and fast in comparison with Cold War days, early days of independence. But thing is that there are still some restrictions, some obstacles. So without smooth functioning of bureaucratic system of a country cannot run very well. So the bureaucratic culture of India will have to change. Administrative reforms will have to be done after certain intervals, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. Indian acceptance in global milieu is good. When I went to Kenya, I saw Indian diaspora is there. Kenyan people are very much admirer of Indian government. When I go to Tajikistan, I saw that. Even the Afghan scholars, my friends, they are also very much grateful to India. They said that, yes, we got Indian scholarships, we have been able to study there. But thing is that if India in coming days increase its capacity to assist other countries after assisting its own people, then Indian acceptance, global acceptance will be increased. And in 2047, we can hope that India will be a superpower after addressing all of these challenges. These challenges are temporary. We have started with a poor nation, with poor infrastructure. We had nothing. Militarily, we were very weakened. Now, India's defense system is one of the powerful defense systems in the world, in Navy, in Air Force, in military, India ranked within 10. We have established a air base in Tajikistan. I went to Tajikistan. I saw India has a military, air base in Tajikistan. This is Indian acceptance. Why I'm talking about this? Tajik people are importing goods from China, but they don't rely China. They didn't give access China to establish air base, but they gave access India. They believe India. This is this acceptance. The philosophy of Gandhi, philosophy of peace. This is our strength. We never attacked other countries. We never went for a war. We assisted our South Asian neighbors, other countries without any expectations. But our generosity sometimes became our fault. China took this opportunity. So if we want to counter China prime enemy, then we will have to have the capacity. We'll have to have capacity to formulate some tactics to handle China. And I personally believe if we do our duty, perform our duty in our own ways, then yes, we'll be able to see ourselves at the apex point in the global milieu by 2047. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, if you have any queries, you can ask us either in chat or else unmute yourself. Is there any questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Sir?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
It is audible.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such an enriching session. We feel happy to get an opportunity to listen to your insightful speech. Your speech has empowered us to think globally. As you stated, we kept our fingers crossed for seeing our nation a developed country in 2047. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experiences with us. Thank you once again, sir, for your valuable contribution to our conference.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to share my views before the August audience. And I am really happy to be a part of this 3 days in national conference sponsored by ICSSR. So I am personally delighted to be part of, not only as a speaker but also be a chair. Yesterday during my session.
Actually, a timely help extended by you.
Papers. Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We are looking forward to your future sessions with us.
You all. Okay, okay. Bye. Bye.
Dear participants, our feedback link for the session is posted in our chat. And for the afternoon validity section, you have to join in the meeting at 1:45 p.m.
Hey,